everyone. David and Michelle, good morning. Amber, good morning. So we got a short chapter today. So we are on day 6, Ecclesiastes 6. So we just have 12 short verses in this one. Alright, so see a couple people on there. Alright, here we go. There is an evil which I have seen under the sun, and it is common among men. A man to whom Elohim has given riches and wealth and honor, so that he lacks nothing for himself of all he desires. Yet Elohim does not give him power to eat of it, but a foreigner consumes it. This is vanity, and it is an evil affliction. If a man begets 100 children and lives many years, so that the days of his years are many, but his soul is not satisfied with goodness, or indeed he has no burial, I say that a stillborn child is better than he. For it comes in vanity and departs in darkness, and its name is covered with darkness. And its name is covered with darkness. Though it has not seen the sun or known anything, this has more rest than that man. Even if he lives 1,000 years twice, but has not seen goodness. Do not all go to one place? All the labor of man is for his mouth, and yet the soul is not satisfied. For what more has the wise man than the fool? What does the poor man have? Who knows how to walk before the living? Better is the sight of the eyes than the wandering of desire. This also is vanity and grasping for the wind. Whatever one is, he has been named already, for it is known that he is man, and he cannot contend with him who is mightier than he. Since there are many things that increase vanity, how is man the better? For who knows what is good for man in life, all the days of his vain life which he passes like a shadow? Who can tell a man what will happen after him under the sun? Man, I think I'm starting to really get the gist of Solomon's mindset here. I mean, to first initially, you know, when you're reading him at first, you know, to me anyways, it seems like, man, this dude's depressed. And I guess rightfully so, because if he wasn't, if he had been obedient to Yah and his commandments and hadn't strayed away from what Yah was telling him to do, or actually, I'll rephrase that, if he hadn't strayed away from what Yah was telling him not to do, when he's telling him not to take unto himself foreign wives and things like that, and all the stuff that he did. But the one thing that, in just these 12 verses, you know, it's interesting. He says that a man who lives many years and has hundreds of children and all that he has, and the gist of it is, if everything that he is doing for his personal gain, what he has when he dies is worse he says that a stillborn, it'd be better off to be born as a stillborn than to be that man. Because in all of those many years that this man has lived, he's piled up sin. And I honestly believe that's what Solomon is getting at. Is that everything, the vanity, the vainness of our lives, if we are not utterly and completely broken and surrendered unto Yah, if we are trying to just gain for ourselves, if we're seeking what we can get for ourselves, for our own comfort, for our own desires and our own wants and all these things, it's all vanity. Our life is vain. It's all in vain. Everything that we do is in vain. Everything that we seek after is in vain. Everything that, and it's all sin. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean, even though probably a lot of it is, that it's sin unto death. But if we're not seeking Yah, is that not sin in and of itself? A person that doesn't seek after Yehovah, that in and of itself is a sin. Because we're not seeking righteousness, we're seeking self. And like we all know, we either serve Yah or we serve Satan. There is no neutral zone. We're not on the bench sitting here watching this all play out. We either belong to one or the other. We are of the seed of Hasatan, or we are of the seed of Yehovah. And everything pertaining to our life points to one of those two seeds. Is our life vanity? Sorry, my eye's been burning all morning. I don't know if I got something in it or what. But everything of what we do in our life points to one of those two seeds. And we bear fruit of one of those two seeds. And when we are willing to walk away from everything, to give up everything, to follow after Yah, to honor Yah, to lay it all down, to give up everything. I've had people say to me, and it's mostly come from people who are family members or whatever, because me and Anthony have amazing jobs that have lifetime career potential, best retirement kind of stuff, pension, all that. XL Energy, man, it's one of the best companies to work for. You've got work till the day you die if you want it, and then retirement and everything is, they've got some of the best retirement packages there are. And the place where Anthony works, my assistant pastor, and for those who don't know, they're, him and his wife, they're going with me and my family in 6.5 weeks. And and I've had people tell me, why would you walk away from a career like this and stuff? And I'm like, why wouldn't I? I said, what is my life supposed to be about? Is it supposed to be see how much money I can build up for retirement? Or do I lay all of that at the feet of Yah and go and do what He tells me to do? Go follow after Him. And sure, I could stay and just, do this, focus on this, and just do little whatever if Yah wants to use me on something. Or I can give all of this up and go and be in the land and be in full-time ministry to do things beyond my imagination. beyond what I could think of, that Yah would be willing to use us in. And that's what I told him. I said, that's our mindset. Even Yeshua says, if we're not willing to sacrifice everything and follow after him, we're not worthy to be his disciple. Those are his words in Scripture. And so you look at what Solomon is talking about, everything he's saying, I mean, basically it all points to those who build their lives for themselves, and they think they're going to build up all these treasures, and they think that they're going to have all these things, and it all means nothing if that life and everything that they're building up is not pertaining to the kingdom. And it's like I said the other day in a couple of the earlier chapters. Oh, I just had a brain pause. Just lost what I was saying. Yep. Right out the door. Boy, don't you hate that? You know what you're about to say, and all of a sudden, exit, stage left. Just runs out on you. But anyways, the point to all of this is, Mishpachah, is everything that we do, if it's for yourself, it's all in vain. It's vanity. And that's the gist of what Solomon's talking about. It's all vanity. It's all for nothing. And it all leads to sin. Especially if we claim to be of Yehovah and we're not willing to even, and I'm not saying Yah's telling you to drop everything and go do something. If he's got something like that planned for you, he'll make it clear. But remember, Yah doesn't call the equipped, he equips the called. First he calls us, then he equips us. So first we have to be willing to say, when we read the scripture verse where Yah says, who will go for me? And we say, here I am, Yah, I will. And then seeking, and understand this too. It's like these last few weeks, everybody's wanting to either do away with books of the Bible, do away with Paul's writings, Luke, Peter, part of Torah, everything else. Then on the other side of that spectrum, you got people who want to say that Enoch and Jasher and all these other scriptures and stuff, not scriptures, all these other books, that they are supposed to be in the Bible. And they would rather waste their time complaining about the fact that these books are not in the scriptures and all this stuff. And it's like I told this guy this morning. I said, how about you focus on the 66 that Yah's got, 66 books that are in the Bible. We have what we have because that's what Yah intended it to be. He's in control. If people tried to put those other books in there in the past and Yah had allowed them or had them be removed, it's because they weren't supposed to be in there. I don't care if they line up with the Word or not. There's historical things that line up with the Word, doesn't make it Scripture. But the point is you want to focus on this kind of stuff. It's vanity, it's vain. Because you're not focused on what is actually called Scripture. You want to get caught up in all this other nonsense like all these other people are doing. And it's ridiculous. Focus on the Torah. Then get focused through the Tanakh. Then get focused through the Brit Hadashah. And tie it all together and build that relationship with Yehovah. How are you going to have a close relationship? How do you expect to ever be used by Yah to do anything when you get caught up in all this mess? It ain't going to happen. Because you're not going to be focused on them. You're not even focused on his actual scriptures because you're too busy whining or focused about something that's not even a part of it. All because you read a couple articles or listened to a couple people spout out some nonsense and you decide you agree with them. Well, that doesn't make it truth. Book of Enoch is a very intriguing book, but it also contradicts scripture, Torah, because the Enoch calendar does not line up with biblical calendar. So right there alone, let's see, Torah calendar, Enoch calendar. Which one am I going to follow? Sorry, hands down, no brainer. The Torah is above everything. The Torah is the cornerstone. It is the foundation of all the word of Yehovah. You're trying to mess with that, you're messing with the heart. Because I don't know how many of you know this, and I believe that nothing is a coincidence when it comes to things in Scripture, certain words, whatever. But in the Torah, in the Hebrew, the very first letter in the Hebrew, the very first letter in Torah, Genesis 1:1, Bereshit, it is the word, the letter Beit. The very last letter of the last verse of the last word in the Torah, in Deuteronomy, is from the word Yisrael. It is the what makes the El, the Lamed. Reading from right to left, Lamed and Beit is the Hebrew word heart. And you're going to tell me that it's a happy accident that the very first letter and the very last letter, he is the first, he is the last, and that in this comes the word heart from the Hebrew? It is the heart of Yah. The Torah is the heart of Yah. And everything that follows after in the Tanakh and the Brit Hadashah all lines up with it. And these other books, they may complement certain things in there. They may line up with certain things in Scripture. And there's things that they don't line up with. And I don't care if it 100% seems like it lines up. If Yah had meant it to be in there, it would be in there. And this is the kind of vanity and vainness that people who claim to be of Yah are wasting their time on, because they're arguing about something that is out of their control instead of focusing on Yah's actual scriptures and building that relationship with him, that personal relationship. And that's the silliness of it all, foolishness. So Mishpachah, today as you go about your day, of course, always go back and read that for yourself. But what I encourage you to think about and ponder on and be prayerful on and ask Yah, Father, what is vain in my life? Okay, here's an example for myself. A year ago, I was hitting the weights so hard and everything. I mean, I was benching 350. I was huge and everything. And Yah told me to put it away, to quit seeking that. I always loved weightlifting. I always loved doing all that stuff. And he said, quit working out for those purposes. Now I do small exercises now to focus on, just keeping me healthy and keeping my body healthy. I don't care about the looks. I'm not trying to impress anybody or whatever. But what I was doing in my mentality in that was vain. It was vanity. And it needed to be put away. Especially since right at that time was when he said, which I believe without a doubt, that he said it's time to go. It's time to get ready to go. And as many of you have been a part of this road of preparation with us for the last 13 months since the beginning of last year. And and the things that he works out in us. And if we want Yah to use us this way, and we want Yah to take us places that we would never think he would take us, then we need to ask him. And that's what I encourage you to do today. Ask Yah, what in my life is vanity that is interfering with you doing whatever you would do with me? Show me what it is, and give me the strength to put it away. No matter how much I want to keep it or whatever it is, give me the heart to want you more than anything else in my life. And Mishpachah, I pray that you pray that, and I encourage you to pray that, and I encourage you to seek that. And don't seek anything else, because everything else is vanity, Mishpachah. So I pray y'all be blessed today. I love y'all, Mishpachah. Have an awesome and great day, but most of all, Yah loves you. Be safe. Shalom, shalom.